I remember in high school how my friends would always tease me about how I wouldn't play Resident Evil when everybody was playing. And finally, I picked it up, and I was actually really surprised with how calm and lighthearted it seemed to be at the beginning of the game. But oh my lord, toward the end of the game, it literally turns into a nightmare. And yes, that's right, I'm talking about the Resident Evil 4 remake. Let's get into what the hype is about this game. With all the remakes this year, I'm really glad that they're doing a scary game remake. But I mean, I want to get into all the hype around this game because everybody's talking about it. Let's start off with what Resident Evil 4 is all about in its history. Well, the developer is Capcom. If you know Capcom, you know that they release really good game. They're mostly into fighters. They developed this, and honestly, it's a really good company to be behind this remake. Talking about the release date, the release date for this project is going to be on March 24th, 2023. So that is super close, and we haven't had word of a possible postponement yet. So keep your eyes out for that. But honestly, I think that they're done with this game. They're just ready to release this thing. The previous games that they've released, I want to get back into that, is like Street Fighter. I know you guys are familiar with that. Final Fight Mega Man, that's kind of a niche game. Devil May Cry. They have Monster Hunter. The list goes on. And honestly, Monster Hunter is really, really amazing. So this company produces some really high quality games. The recent news is that just this original story of the game is going to be tweaked just a little bit. That's according to sources. And it's going to take a small turn compared to the original. But with that being said, a couple of characters and monsters in the original might not have made the cut, so I know this is going to make a lot of people angry. But Capcom also states that there would be pre-order bonuses with each edition of the game being standard. Deluxe, standard, collectors, they're going to be pre-orders with all of that. It's going to be available to Xbox, Steam users, other than just PlayStation. If you know Resident Evil, then you know that this is a huge deal because it is usually just on PlayStation. The game is also said to have a VR version in development, also for the VR lovers. I'm not sure, like I told you guys, I'm a little bit scared about that, but I'm not sure if I'm going to pick up the VR, but that is amazing. Like, there is some people out there that genuinely love being scared and like having the things jump out at them. So Resident Evil is a perfect game for that. We're gonna be looking forward to seeing the visual comparisons from the original. As always, this is a remake, and we want to make sure that um, it is like remade up to our standards at the end of the day. So we definitely want to make sure that the graphics are gonna be somewhat decent. Um, and finally being able to move and fire simultaneously. That is a huge thing for me because in the original games, I remember there wasn't too much of that at all. As you can see up in here, it's always the bad camera angles. That's what mostly get people. And as you can see, the graphics is just awesome in my opinion. But there's just going to be so many things. Seeing the codec calls turn into actual cutscenes, kind of giving us like a better sense of the supporting characters throughout the story. That's super important because I kind of on some not Resident Evil, some Metal Gear Solid type stuff. I think that that's important, and the cutscenes in general, like you see here. And I want to see what parts of the story and overall areas have been changed because they did mention that there's some parts that's gonna be changed, as I can see up in some of these cutscenes. Some parts have been changed, but a lot of things have been staying the same. And just the modernized controls and enhancement intensity of the gameplay. As you can see, just all over the game, just in the cutscenes, just in some of the gameplay that they sent us, there's gonna be a lot more things to kind of like relearn slash remap in your brain. And guys, the hype around this game is everything that I just mentioned.
You can stop
The
right
Resident Evil
there.
fans never ever cease to amaze me whenever it comes to these games. I've watched walkthroughs, I've watched speed runs, and it's honestly impressive how fast they go through this stuff without even like breaking a sweat. You can tell that they played the game hundreds of times. But for the people who missed out on Resident Evil, this is for you. I know that I didn't want to get back into the older Resident Evil,
She's
mostly
lost him out of here.
because of the
Now the
older
heat
graphics
is
and stuff like that.
juicing
I'm just
deep.
not the biggest fan of that. But there's going to be no problem playing this. And honestly, guys, I cannot wait until this game comes out. We'll do a little bit more. And that is the hype around Resident Evil 4. To the next video. See you guys later.